And then there is now a different type of amendment being sought, where the maximum punishment is now proposed to be amended to 30 years or 100,000 ringgit or 100 lashes or a combination thereof. That is what is now being sought. The original is 3 years or 5,000 ringgit or 6 lashes. So, to put it in context, this is no longer about cutting off limbs. This is now about an increase in the jurisdiction of the Syariah Court in order to give increased punishments. And for me, the next slide please. This is actually Hadi's way of taking one step backwards so that he can take 2 steps forward. Right? For me, this is merely a compromise because there was such a big hue and cry. So the end objective is, of course, not this version 2.0. The end objective is something much more than that. For me, I'm afraid that the end objective of Hadi and Tuk Guru Hadi and all his group, they want to see hudud being implemented, wholesale implementation of hudud. It's very normal for people to want to be better than their previous generation. We always want to say that we are better than what our father was. We want to say that we have progressed. But if you make Act 355 as the benchmark of that progress, then, you know, what gets measured gets managed. This is from management, right? Peter Drucker said, what gets measured gets managed. So if you focus on one thing, and that is the penalties, then you'll focus on how to increase the penalties. There are so many other things to measure. Right? So there are, for example, you know, the maximum terms that our Prime Minister has. That is one thing that we have not measured. Right? In the US, the President must resign or must step down after 2 terms. Or the automatic declassification of official secrets, things like this. We are not measuring it.
So what happens if, we also know a paper submitted by Jakim. I've read the paper. I think many of us have read it here, Jakim paper, which stated that they will be implementing hudud 2 stages. Now this act, I think it will be 3 stages. The first, according to them, first stage only applicable to Muslims. They say otherwise it's not fair. Second stage, it must apply to non-Muslim. That is in the technical paper, still there. They say only raising punishment limits. That is not true. Because you can only say that if no new offences are being brought in. But I just read to you, 3 hudud offences already brought in. You are raising the limit to create new offences. That is actually. And those offences are hudud offences. So how can you say it's not a hudud bill? Because it is already brought in 3 offences at the moment. So, in fact, prior to 2015, you can see all the time plus hudud bill. Now at 355, to me it's a repackaging to give it the innocent flavor, so that there will be it will be more acceptable and less protest. So this is a very slippery slope. I agree your intentions are good, but you will not be there to implement, because if the law allows, it will be used. We have to have law that does not goes against the constitution.
The one, the new space that Saudara mentioned just now, it's true, it's not hudud, but with the amendment, they can still implement 3 hudud punishments. So yes, it's not hudud, but it's also, they are trying to get some sort of hudud-like version in, which is, I think, is perhaps a political mistake that they wanted to have it first, and then suddenly they cannot have it, so okay lah, let's just have like 3 punishments first. We don't know where that's going, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why it was right for us to be worried about this. Next, please. But about hudud, that is not really the point, ladies and gentlemen. The point here is that when the punishments cap has been increased, it means that this new cap, which is 30 years, 100,000 fine, and 100 lashes, can also apply to all the existing Sharia offences that we already have. So you have Sharia offences such as teaching without credentials, insulting religious enforcers, questioning fatwa, and giving your kids to non-Muslims. These are all the sort of things that can be, the punishments can be increased up to this cap. Now, my learned friend just now said, well, we don't know yet if the states will actually increase whatever punishment that they already have in the next one. Well, pardon me for not being convinced, because in my opinion, our religious enforcers just have a fetish to punish. There has been so many legal challenges against their actions, and if they do not have this fetish, they would have just dropped it. You know, I'm wrong, sorry. Let's not go through with this case. But no, they appeal, and then they appeal, until people are suffering for so many years.